Jason Campbell has to trust his offensive line. Football is the consummate team game. Trust the O-line and do your job.
And don't worry about who calls the plays. Don't worry about who signals the plays to you. Don't even worry which color-coded wristband to look at. Go out there tonight, relax. Put a smile on your face. Cut it loose. Let it go. Snap out of it. Lead your football team to a victory tonight. You beat the Philadelphia Eagles twice last year. You're experienced. Very important for Jason Campbell to have his best football game of the year tonight.
Benched last week. Play caller change. So much swirling. What can they do on the field? We'll find out. Hobbs with 3 career kickoff returns for touchdown. The Redskins and the Eagles. Off we go from D.C. And Hobbs from a yard deep. Down shy of the 20. Chris Wilson and Mike Sellers there to stop his progress. There goes the number 2 overall pick of the 1999 draft, Donovan McNabb. Remember, he broke a rib earlier in the season and came back a couple of starts since, and in the last one against Oakland, Jaws, the offensive line was beat up and a bit injured, and McNabb was under siege by the Raiders' front 7.
Yeah, they really got after him with the blitz, and the offensive line really got handled. But this is probably the most healthy offensive line they have had all season long. So you would expect the Eagles to be effective up front. I think they'll run the ball early, try to get this offensive line in sync, get them coming off the ball.
On cue, McNabb flexes out as a receiver, and it's a direct snap to start the game with Westbrook. And Brian runs right and gains 3 yards. This is the closest they've been to regular all season. Westbrook lines up behind McNabb, takes the handoff. And we have 3rd and 3, and John, right away we see, well, 2 run plays from the Eagles.
We talked to Andy Reid last night. He said he's got some new linemen. He's been shuffling guys around. He wanted them to come off the ball a couple times early. He did that, and that's the guy, Westbrook, they got to get going. His touches are down. He's feeling better, and we all know he is a factor back, Jaws.
Yeah, last week against the Oakland Raiders, the Eagles only called 12 running plays and 52 called passes. They must get their equilibrium back.
We'll go shotgun on 3rd and 2. And McNabb, time against the 5-man rush, completes it to Brent Selleck, his tight end, the leading pass receiver on this Eagles team. London Fletcher, the tackle. It's a first down for Philadelphia. And Laron Landry, a big hitting safety, rounds it out. Put it in the hands of DeSean Jackson, who gets to the corner. And Jackson getting a downfield block from Macklin. Hits it inside the 10 and in for the touchdown. DeSean Jackson, 67 yards.
67 yards.
Well, take a look at it. It's an end-around reverse, and the Redskins lost contain. And if you make a mistake against DeSean Jackson, forget about it. This guy's made more explosive plays in the first 6 or 7 weeks of the season than any guy in NFL history.
Andre Carter, number 99, the defensive end, came down the line way too flat. He underestimated the speed of DeSean Jackson. He got around the corner. A lot of grass in front of him.
Extra point added. What speed from DeSean Jackson, 67 yards. He has touchdowns of 85, 71, 65, 67, and 64 yards already this season. The Redskins in an early hole. And Rock Cartwright returns from the 7. Up the middle to the 27.
The life that he's brought to the Philadelphia Eagles. What an exciting football player.
You see it in his career now, in this year plus, 49-yard average on his touchdowns. 5 of his 8 over 60 yards. First play call for the Redskins is Campbell throwing to Cooley, the tight end. Oh, this play call worked. 18 yards, first down to the 45. Asante Samuel, the tackle.
Chris Cooley is the go-to receiver from Jason Campbell. He has 27 catches this year. He blocks down, throws Jaquay Thomas back to the inside, and opens up right on the numbers. He's actually the third receiver on this route. Throw him, check down. Jason Campbell finds him on the movement. The play design, first play, very nice. Get the quarterback outside the pocket.
Macho Harris has got to keep his coverage.
He's the rookie safety. Second call, right back to Cooley. Trying to feed him. Gets about 3 yards. Quentin Michael along with the tackle of Chris Gocon. Last week, Jason Campbell was benched, first time in his career. He had settled in as the Redskins starter. When we came here right around this time of the year last year, he was playing so well. Wasn't throwing interceptions, was smart. Jaws, you even called him your first half MVP in the league.
Yeah, he really was playing well through 8 games last year. He was 6-2. But you know what happened? The offensive line had problems. He started feeling a lot of pressure, and his performance began to decline.
2nd and 7, first run for Clinton Portis. He's only going to gain about a yard to the 49. We're going to have 3rd and 6 coming up. You've heard about the play calling. Here's how it works. Sherm Lewis in the press box off of his sheet of plays is sending them in via the headset to Sherman Smith. He's the offensive coordinator on the sidelines. Sherman Smith is then sending a color and letter like red 4, orange 6 to Jason Campbell, who goes to the wristband, refers to it, and calls the plays. That's so Sherm Lewis, new here, can take the terminology. Sherman Smith can help him with how to block it and get it into Campbell in an efficient timeout. No problem so far except getting the ball in his hands. He dropped it, lost it. Bill Levy, the referee, blew it dead. Bill Levy blew it dead, and the Eagles sideline was very unhappy. They thought that was a turnover.
Well, it's not about the play calling. It's just a snap to the left knee of Jason Campbell. He's not able to get the football cleanly. You'll see it, not really a horrible snap. It's right about his knees. Got to flex those knees, get the ball down, and make sure you take care of the football first. Catch the ball. He's had a problem fumbling this year. That's his 9th. Not good.
Andy Reid took the challenge flag in hand for a second. Was thinking about throwing it, will not. After the 9th fumble of the year by Campbell. DeSean Jackson loses it on the punt return. That gets it and steps out of bounds at the 16-yard line. He was trying to get back to the end zone again. Redskins trailing 7-0. Eagles take over after DeSean Jackson lost the handle of the punt at their own 18-yard line. McNabb to fire. It's caught by Jeremy Maclin, the good-looking rookie out of Missouri, tackled by Carlos Rogers. With Maclin and Jackson and Brent Selleck, we've seen in this opening drive.
They are spread out here to throw it.
McNabb does that. There's Maclin, shy of the 40, first down, tagged down by Chris Horton.
You know, Andy Reid has been talked about for years how he likes to throw the football. But what nobody ever says is how many games he wins. He's also one of the winningest coaches in the last 25 years in this business. He knows how to throw the football. He's got a great quarterback. Donovan McNabb is the equalizer. When things break down, off he goes. And they have surrounded him with some great young skilled players.
After the gain is 16, we had movement up front.
False start. Number 74, offense. 5-yard penalty, first down.
Bill Levy, our official here tonight.
Andy Reid has a philosophy. He likes to throw the football. Obviously, he's thrown more than any coach in the history of the NFL that's coached 100 games. As John said, he's won a lot of those games. But his philosophy is he likes to play with the lead. He's got a very aggressive defense that blitzes about 53% of the time this season in passing situations. He likes to get him in a position to attack. This is a pedal-to-the-metal offense.
1st and 15, little hitch, and here goes Maclin. Gets the penalty yardage back, plus some. It'll be 2nd and 4.
The other thing Andy Reid does a great job of is he throws a lot of screen passes and different kind of screens. Here's a quick screen out to one of his perimeter rocket wide receivers, and his offensive linemen, Winston Justice, Peters, both of these tackles can get down the football field and make plays on these screen plays. There's a lot of athletes on this Eagle offense.
Yeah, for the first time this year, they get Todd Harriman's back at left guard. He's also very athletic out in that screen game.
Rookie LaShawn McCoy checks in, takes the direct snap and gets close
downfield
to first down yardage. Albert Hainsworth is there. McCoy, a rookie out of Pittsburgh, taken in the second round, and it's been a while since the Eagles had drafted a running back that early, and McCoy does a lot of the things Westbrook can do, Jaws, and that's one of the reasons you take a back like this as Brian gets to 30 years old.
There's no question about that, Mike. He is the Eagles' running back of the future. His problem right now is pass protection. Like it is with all young players that come in this league, they do not understand the complexity of defenses they face week in and week out. Their problem is in pass protection.
Westbrook back in, 3rd and 1, and Leonard Weaver runs. Try to stop him short of the first down. You remember all the problems that the Eagles have had, and he does get the first down. In these situations, Danny Klecko, defensive line, was moved over to offensive line to offense last year to play fullback. They brought in Kyle Eckel out of Navy. These situations were problems, so they signed Weaver, West Coast fullback, knows this offense, and from Seattle, he's doing a good job.
He was a major acquisition this offseason. That was a big problem with the Eagles last year. Goal line and short yardage situations. Weaver can not only block well, run well, he is a good receiving back.
Halfway through the quarter, Eagles lead by 7, and Westbrook takes it 4-5. It's kind of interesting to watch the Eagles right now, guys, as they get that gain of 5, and we have an injury on the field.
You know, when you watch London Fletcher play middle linebacker in this over defense, he plays extremely deep, and it allows him to read what's happening. And he does an excellent job feeding off of Hainsworth and his big guys inside. What a player.
Yeah, Westbrook took a vicious shot there, and he's shaken up. He's down. They're checking on Brian, so we'll step out here for a minute. Back here in Washington, and the concern for Brian Westbrook, the outstanding running back for the Eagles, who was hit on that last play, has stayed down. I have seen him moving his hands as the training staff tends to him. That's Byron Westbrook, Brian's brother, who plays for the Washington Redskins. Practice squad the last couple of years, made the team this year, and the fans on the side of the field where the camera is reacting to seeing Westbrook's legs move. It's the first time they've been able to see. And we've been watching Westbrook's hands move. Let's go back and watch as he put his head down. You're going to see London Fletcher coming in, and Fletcher's knee just at the absolute wrong angle get Westbrook in the side of the head and knock Brian down and out. And as usual, when you see players go down like that, you see everyone with concern, but it's rare you see someone from the other side as the only player right there with him, but obviously it's his brother. And a comforting sight that is for everyone here, especially Brian's brother Byron, who plays for the Redskins, and London Fletcher, who hit him with that accidental knee. First one over there to give him a hand, and they'll take Westbrook back to the training room. It's great to see anybody walk off like this in this kind of situation, as opposed to the cart coming out. And a warm hand for a guy who is from this D.C. area. DeMatha High School, raised a Washington Redskin fan, and a guy who, John, Jaws, we've seen over the years, just the staple of the running back position for the Eagles over this decade.
Yeah, and it was interesting talking to Brian yesterday. You know, it's the most healthy he felt he's been in a long time. He was excited about this game, coming back home, competing against his brother. And the good news is we see him walking off the field. He looks pretty good right now. That was a vicious shot he took from the knee of London Fletcher, one of those tragic things we sometimes see in this game, but that's good news to see Brian walking off the field under his own power.
Okay, the gain was 5. The game back on here just inside of 7 minutes. Eagles scored on a Deshaun Jackson 67-yard run on their 4th play of the game. So LaShawn McCoy has to carry the running back duties for the moment, and he gets a couple of yards to the 43-yard line.
This is the kind of time Donovan McNabb will take over. You lose a key member of your football team. There's an audible. Donovan saw Arakpo get on the line of scrimmage. He audibles to a run away from the blitz. Look for a lot of that tonight, Jaws, in this 3-receiver offense that the Philadelphia Eagles are really emphasizing.
Well, Donovan's a veteran quarterback. He understands the looks of the defense and when to run, when to call the run in the blitz, and when to throw into the blitz. A very sharp quarterback at the line of scrimmage.
Jason Avant becomes the third receiver. He's the motion man toward you. Four-man rush. McNabb with time. The pass incomplete for his tight end, Selleck. Fletcher was over there in coverage, and it will be a punt for Philadelphia.
Donovan rushed that throw just a little bit. He had a comfortable pocket. He had time. He needed to wait just a split second more, allowing Brent Selleck to uncover. Rushed it a little bit, and the ball dives into the ground.
Sav Rocca on to punt for the Eagles with Antoine Randall back at the 10. Randall will fair catch this 31-yard punt, and Washington will take over at its own 11. When they were winless facing the Redskins to get started. A much tougher opponent, toughest one of the night. Carry for Portis, he loses a yard and a half. Broderick Bunkley with the tackle.
You know, one of the things this Philadelphia Eagle defense has really struggled with is the middle linebackers' health. They have gone through more middle linebackers than any team I've ever seen, and Will Weatherspoon is here playing tonight, just acquired in a trade Tuesday from the Rams. This is tough sledding, getting a guy ready in this defense in this short period of time.
Came here at the trade deadline. Portis runs left, he gets hit hard. He only gains about 3 yards. Shy of the 16. We have a penalty marker down. As they sort out the flag, we have word Brian Westbrook, concussion, expected not to return tonight.
Holding. Number 98 defense. 5-yard penalty enforced from the end of the run. First down.
It's on Mike Patterson, the defensive tackles. Slides on over from the right tackle spot to left. First down, Campbell, well protected. Thought about throwing deep, came to Cooley, and it was incomplete.
Well, we've talked about the poor pass protection of the Washington Redskins for most of the season. It was outstanding there. They went maximum protection. You'll see 7 up front, protect, 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 looking for the big explosive play down the field. Not there. Campbell comes off to his release receiver, Chris Cooley, but you can see the excellent coverage by Akeem Jordan out in the flat. That was designed for the big play down the field. Sometimes you just got to take the shot and let it go, Jason.
Second down, time again for Campbell. That one sails over Cooley and incomplete. And with every incompletion, the fans get on Campbell. It'll be third down. Will Weatherspoon, that new man John was talking about, over there covering.
We'll take a look at it once again. Jason Campbell gets his feet caught in which decision I'm going to make right here. Do I throw it to Santana Moss on time? He never gets his feet set. And I don't know if he's just not feeling or trusting the protection or what he's seeing, Jaws, but you got to sometimes hang in there a little bit longer with the primary receiver.
He had Cooley. It was an inaccurate throw.
Another 4-man rush protected. Here's Waddell Betts. Brought down by Quentin Michael, a couple of yards shy of the first down. And it'll be fourth down and another series where the Redskins get 1 first down and punt.
I think this is a big point in the game right here for this Redskin offense. You hear the boos. This is where we got to really check the mental toughness. And they have to come back and find some kind of success early in a football game. They have 1 offensive touchdown in the first half this year.
Hunter Smith returning to punt. Missed the last couple of games with a groin injury. Deep punt, but room for Jackson from the 14. Jackson trying to set up some blocks, getting to the near side. If he gets one more, he's got some room. And he's dragged out of bounds at the 44-yard line by Chris Horton, the safety. Boy, Deshaun Jackson, has he had an impact on this game? 67-yard run. Well, Andy Reid's had to become accustomed to not having one of his best offensive weapons, Brian Westbrook, and he'll probably have to do it for the rest of the game. If you're just tuning in, about a few minutes ago, Westbrook took an inadvertent knee from London Fletcher. Concussion likely out for the rest of the game. So, guys, what does that do to the Eagles' offense without Westbrook?
Mike, it's a huge loss for the Philadelphia Eagles. This offense really does run through Brian Westbrook in the running game and the receiving game. And also, he is an outstanding pass protector. That's always been an overlooked aspect of his game. The Eagles have to be careful with their protections right now.
Let's see what LaShawn McCoy can do catching the screen. Takes it down to Redskin territory. First down at the 41-yard line, and Andy Reid was effusive in his praise of the rookie from Pittsburgh.
He sure was. That's why Andy Reid drafted LeSean McCoy. And back to Andy Reid. Here's a screen pass on the perimeter. Nobody does it better than the Philadelphia Eagles. But Andy Reid likes versatile football players. LeSean McCoy can run, he can catch, he can line up in any formation, even the Wildcat. Here he is again.
Second time he's done that tonight with McNabb split out to the left side. He gains a couple of yards, moving it down to the 39-yard line. This guy was a second-team All-American running back at Pittsburgh. He played in the game that Westbrook was out against Kansas City and carried the load with 84 yards and a rushing touchdown. So he's been in this situation where he has been the choice at running back.
Yeah, and let's not forget, this Eagles offensive line is massive. It is the biggest offensive line in the National Football League, averaging 339 pounds a man up front. They're athletic in the screen game, and they can really road grade a defensive line.
Protecting for McNabb on 2nd and 8. That pass incomplete, shooting through the hands of McCoy. Well, third down. McCoy covered by London Fletcher again.
But you know, this Philadelphia Eagle offense, what a period of transition for him. 2 new tackles. You talk about Trey Thomas at left tackle, John Runyon. 134 games those 2 guys played. They've got 2 new tackles. You're seeing Jeremy Maclin, a new receiver, LeSean McCoy. Donovan McNabb is the only guy really that's played a lot of football for the Philadelphia Eagles on this offense.
Especially when the Westbrook goes out, he becomes the voice of calm and the veteran leader of the group. 3rd and 8, Redskins rush 4, check down with McCoy, unable to get much farther. Kendrick Golston, who keeps showing up more and more for the Redskins, off the D-line to make the tackle.
And the Redskins stay with their 4-man rush. They drop 7 into coverage, but the 4 defensive linemen, and of course you got to keep thinking about Albert Haynesworth in the mix. They collapse the pocket. They do not allow McNabb to survey deep down the field because the pressure, he has to check it down quickly. Consequently, the Eagles end up with a 4th and 5 short of the first down.
Into the bit of a breeze we have tonight. This would have been a 53-yard field goal for Akers. So Rocca will come in and try to pin the Redskins deep. Randall fair catching at the 9. Last drive started at the 12. So Washington pinned back again. Jason Campbell and the Redskins' 3rd drive, starting at their own 9. A run left for Portis. He gets 2 yards to about the 11, tackled by Darren Howard, one of a rotation of defensive linemen in the defense for that man. Sean McDermott, 35 years old. He's the defensive coordinator, was the secondary coach here with the Eagles. And when Jim Johnson, the legendary defensive coordinator, passed away with cancer in July, McDermott elevated to the job, a Philly native, and McDermott has stepped in, and to this point, he's kept the Jim Johnson mantra. Blitz. When in doubt, blitz some more.
And it looks like they're coming right on cue.
From the 11, Campbell's pass is deflected and intercepted and taken by Will Witherspoon for a touchdown. Welcome to Philadelphia.
Sean McDermott dialed up the blitz. The Eagles came with the pressure. The ball was batted in the air, and Will Witherspoon will be loved in Philadelphia right now.
Well, when you take a 3-step drop and there's a blitz coming up the middle, you got to really be aggressive with your pass protection. And there's a case where the Redskins just did not knock down the hands. Deflections are problems.
Well, 1 week ago tonight, Will Witherspoon was part of the St. Louis Rams, and he was 0-6. And now here he is with the Eagles and making the play for the touchdown against the Redskins as the extra point is added by David Akers. It's the 2nd game he's played here this year because St. Louis has already played at Washington.
Well, take a look at it. Here's Quentin Michael. He's just going to come blitzing right up the middle. The offensive line is assigned, but there's some seepage. There's some penetration, and on a quick 3-step drop, those plays are problems when the ball is batted in the air. The Philadelphia Eagles live and die with the turnovers, and they are getting more interceptions this year than I can remember in some time.
And Will Montgomery, the right guard, number 63, you've got to fire out. When you're going that three-step drop, the ball is going to be out quickly in 1.5 seconds. The quarterback's going to be 5 yards from the line of scrimmage. You've got to create those lanes for the quarterback to throw the football. There was leakage because Montgomery backed up, and he allowed Quinton Michael to push on up and get his hands up in the air. That type of pass should not be batted by a blitzing safety.
Philadelphia Eagles, 1 out of every 15 passes this year has been intercepted.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah. And they bring pressure 53% of the time in passing situations. You've got to understand when you play this defense, you better be thinking quickly, get the ball out of your hand quickly. Your tempo must be fast offensively.
14-0 Philadelphia. And Akers kicks to Rock Cartwright from the 4. Cartwright, he's taken down hard at the 25-yard line.
Because they have pride in Philly, that's for sure.
14-0. Portis runs left, and Clinton gets about 9 yards on that first down run.
If the Redskins are going to get back in this game, they must do it on the shoulders of Clinton Portis. The Redskins beat the Eagles twice last year because they ran the football effectively. They kept the game close and found a way to win it late. Portis has to get it going.
Second and 1, a Portis run is the first down, taking it out to the 38-yard line. So they line up and run it a couple of times to pick up a first down. Jim Zorn's just like you, following along, playing the home version of Call That Play. It's got to be a strange feeling for the man who's called plays every game as head coach for the Redskins. Second quarter here at FedEx Field, Landover, Maryland. Eagles lead 14-0 with Ron Jaworski, John Gruden, Susie Colbert on the sideline. Mike Tirico. Our Monday Night Football game tonight features two teams that have met 148 times before. Long time rivals. And as mentioned, last year their first meeting was a 14-0 Eagles start. Washington came back to win that game. Campbell lost the football. Stripped from behind by Witherspoon again. And the Eagles have recovered.
You just have to take care of the football. You've got to understand the Eagles are bringing pressure right in your face. Slide away. If it's not there, throw the football away. You'll see Witherspoon, the linebacker, right there. Here comes the pressure at the top of the screen. Witherspoon loops around. Got it zeroed in on Jason Campbell. You've got to feel that pressure as a quarterback. You've got to feel the rush coming. You've got to know when there's bodies around you and secure the football. Bad play by Jason Campbell.
Quinton Michael comes up with the recovery.
Why did the St. Louis Rams trade this guy?
I know, right? That's what I'm thinking. And to add injury to it, Chris Cooley injured on the play. Timeout. Well, the contrast, they're dancing over there on the Philadelphia sideline. Life is good. A quarter and a play into this one. They've turned Jason Campbell over a couple of times. Quinton Michael tipped a pass for an interception. Now recovers a fumble, and Andy Reid sends his offense out in great field position at the plus 36. The Redskins 36. McNabb trying to find some space. He'll take off and gain a few yards. Now the Eagles get deeper into their reservoir of plays. Michael Vick checks in for the first time tonight. From the 35, Vick, who's 1 of 5 passing, now 2 of 6, as Johnny goes to Brent Selleck for 5 yards.
You know, you can criticize Andy Reid all you want for throwing passes. How much fun is he having? You forgot about Michael Vick. He just comes in here early in the second quarter. There he is, Starship 7, getting a feel for the West Coast offense. I get excited seeing that guy.
Excited over a 4-yard pass.
Excited to see him back.
He's run it 6 times. That was his 6th throw, his 2nd completion. It brings up 3rd and 4 with McNabb back on the field and throwing incomplete and low from Macklin. of a field goal opportunity coming for Philadelphia.
Well, Donovan McNabb, he's disappointed with that throw, but there's Michael Vick. You know, the strange part about Vick's career, in his career, he averages 7.2 yards per carry and 6.6 yards per pass. So why not let him run around a little bit?
Well, you know, in those great days he had the Atlanta Falcons, he was Starship 7. But those days are far removed. I think he still has to work himself back into shape. He spoke to us yesterday about that, the weight he's lost, and just getting acclimated to be back in the NFL. But there's no question, he's got talent.
47-yard kick, David Akers missed 2 in the 40 range last week. Nails that one. Oh, there's Daniel Snyder, the owner of the Washington Redskins, now his 11th year as the owner and chairman of this team, and one thing he wants to do desperately is win, and he has spared no expense and tried as many ways to get things changed and going. And the latest here is the play calling decision that happened as Vinny Cerrato, who is the executive vice president of football operations, has made that move to get Sherm Lewis in here, a consultant now calling plays, but nothing has worked over the last couple of years for the Redskins. Rock Cartwright down the sideline working here. Flag down as he's down, right around the 43-yard line. David Akers, the kicker, put his head in there.
Jason Campbell must show his leadership right now.
Personal foul, low block, number 35 of the receiving team. Half the distance of the goal from the spot of the foul, first down.
And then now Todd Collins and Jason Campbell with their opportunities. And no matter what the combination, head coaches, quarterbacks, none of it has worked. From the sideline, I think Philadelphia is running in here. We have one of the officials who's over by the Eagles stopping play.
Correction. It was 35 of the kicking team.
Oh, boy.
15 yards will be enforced from the end of the run. First down.
Now, sometimes the officials give wrong numbers. That's why I didn't say who it was, because 35 for Washington is Quinton Ganther. He's inactive. So you're talking about a 45-yard difference. That was a massive screw-up that the official caught there. So that was a big, big deal in this game. And the Redskins were over on the sideline yelling at the official, Danny Smith, the special teams coach, screaming at the officials. How could you get that wrong?
Sometimes that's the kind of thing that can ignite you. That's a big break for the Redskins. They've had bad field position all night. Now let's see if they can take a shot and get back in a football game.
If you want some energy, you want some emotion, Danny Smith, the special teams coach for the Redskins, will bring it. Let's see if their offense can bring it.
That's a huge difference being at your own 15 and their 45, right? There's a run up the middle for about 3 yards with Portis to the 42-yard line. He'll try to get physical here. We brought up the issue with Dan Snyder, the owner, and this is one of the examples, guys, of the play calling situation. Somehow, some way, there's got to be a spark to this team, because right now there is nothing to make this solution work.
It's not always about the play calling. It's about the execution. That's where the quarterback has to be more consistent. Think of all the excuses you want. Eventually, the players have to go on the field and perform.
Campbell's throw is caught by Santana Moss, who gets inside the 30 to the 29-yard line. And that gain of 13's big. Somebody's got to step up and make some plays now.
That time, Jason Campbell showed me a little something. Have the courage to hang in that pocket, get your weight in it backward, drive the football down the throw, give Santana Moss time to work on Hoshea Hansen. Don't bail out the pocket. Stay with your progression. This guy can throw the football, but he's got to calm down in that pocket and let the play develop down the field and not perceive that pass rush pressure.
Fred Davis is the tight end in motion, and he's catching this pass to the 23-yard line, a pickup of a half dozen.
And Fred Davis has to step up. He's the John Mackey Award winner. They need his athleticism, obviously, with the loss of a guy like Cooley.
That Mackey Award goes to the best tight end in college football. He won that at USC 2 years ago. Campbell, spit out by Randall L. Incomplete, or be ruled down, I should say. They call the play dead at the spot where Randall went down. And essentially no gain.
Didn't stop Will Witherspoon from picking it up and trying to score, and a heck of a collision with Clinton Portis. Hakeem Jordan, you'll see making the tackle. Knee down, ball out late. Jason Campbell limping slightly. I think he got hit on that completion to Santana Moss. Big third down for the Redskins.
The Eagles showing pressure. And Trent Cole busted on in, and he gives him a first down.
Offside, unabated to the quarterback. Number 58 defense. 5-yard penalty results in the first down.
That's just a careless play right there on 3rd down and 3. A lot of communication going on as the Eagles showed blitz. The Redskins are making calls, and Trent Cole just jumps the gun right here and gives the Washington Redskins life. If there's one thing you don't want to do, that's give this offense a free pass on 3rd down. That's where they've struggled the most.
See the 4th one on Philly. Now 1st and 10. Redskins in the red zone. Campbell taking off, and he'll just go down at the 14-yard line, picking up 3 yards. Well, everything's been a problem for Washington on offense. Red zone, no different.
This is when your quarterback has to be at his best. When you get in this scoring position, you're not going to get those easy throws. You've got to be able to throw the football in the tight windows. You know, you can't always get a receiver wide open and then throw it. This is when your quarterback must be accurate.
Rock Cartwright checks in the backfield with Liddell Betts. No Portis here. And Cartwright will run. Got a block from Betts. And Cartwright put his head down and goes to the 3. 1st and goal, Washington.
That's a good play call right there by Sherm Lewis. The Philadelphia Eagles are in a 2-deep zone. Take a look at them. They're playing a lot of coverage right here. One of the best ways to combat is a lead draw. Good lead block by Liddell Betts, and that's a good hard run by Cartwright to set up a 1st and goal. Good play selection there.
And Derek Dockery and Casey Raybach did a nice job of sealing the inside.
Portis back in, 1st and goal. Here's Clinton to the right. Got about a yard as Mike Patterson was tailing him and brought him down.
I'd probably run right too if I was calling these plays. When I saw Big Mike Williams in practice the other day.
Big Mike is right.
I never seen a guy that big.
Mike is 71 in white for the Redskins. This was a guy who was the number 4 overall pick in the draft by Buffalo in 2002. Really flamed out. Did not play well in Buffalo. Hadn't played in a regular season game since 2005 until earlier this year. Started at right guard against Carolina, now over at right tackle. He'll go shotgun from the 2. Campbell to the back. Touchdown. Devin Thomas.
Jason Campbell responded in a very positive way. I love the manipulation. You'll see him set in the pocket. He looks at the little stick route. Not there. He comes back off. That little pump fake drew the secondary up, and that uncovered the wide receiver, Devin Thomas, in the back of the end zone.
Sweezum adds the extra point. Well, we show you that with the payoff for it in a second after you watch that touchdown to put Washington on the board. Short kickoff, Ellis Hobbs brought down by his opposite number, Rock Cartwright, at the 35.
Where's Devin Thomas from?
Michigan State.
Where'd Sherm Lewis go to school?
Michigan State.
Good for the Spartans right there.
There you go. Boy, I'm asking a tough question like that.
Keep them simple for you.
Yeah.
Well, let's see if that Washington defense responds after the first sign of life from their offense in 2 weeks. Loss of 3 as McCoy carries, and is met by Andre Carter. leading the Washington charge.
This now sounds like a Washington Redskins crowd. You know, in my career in the NFCs, 10 times we had to come down and play the Washington Redskins. This is a tough place to play when this crowd gets into it. They're starting to get lathered up.
Michael Vick in to take the direct snap. Second snap on the field tonight. Reading the end, keeping, and tripped up by Carter.
Well, give Greg Blache a lot of credit. Michael Vick snuck into the game. He's going to read the defensive end as he puts the ball on LeSean McCoy's chest. He felt the end close. How about that for athleticism? And that's one of the reasons people tell me you can't run the option in pro football, because of guys like Carter. They are quick and agile and very big.
Third and long.
Michael Vick in his Starship days would have been around the corner. Not the same guy anymore.
Four-man rush. McNabb, deep drop. LeSean McCoy, a lot of Redskins here. 3 and out for the Eagles.
Once again, Donovan drops in the pocket. 3rd and long, a defensive favorable situation with a lead of 10 points. He's not going to make a mistake and try to stick one down the field. He took the check down, gained a few yards, and punt the ball back to the Redskins. Let the Eagles defense go back on the field.
And a chance for Antoine Randall, who's not had return room yet tonight. Let's see what Sam Rocca gives him to work with. Kick is 42. Randall muffs it, and the Eagles have it. It goes right into the hands of Sean Jones. Last week, Randall muffed a punt in similar spot, but on the sideline at the 10. And that one he misses. And the Eagles will have it. A muff can't be advanced. It's at the recovery spot. Philadelphia ball. Did his eyes drop down there, guys?
Well, it's hard to say. The ball went right off his headgear. This is one of the more secure, reliable return men in football. Lightning continues to strike here at this stadium. As soon as you get momentum, that's a big blow to the Redskins.
And defense held, gets them back in the game. And a guy who has returned many punts in his career, Randall comes up with a big mistake. McNabb throws complete to Weaver, the fullback, spilled by Hall. Very short game.
The Redskins defense is picking up their tempo right now. Andre Carter coming on the outside, putting pressure on McNabb, not allowing him to get comfortable in the pocket.
The thing I like about this DeAngelo Hall is he's really turned his career on here in Washington. He's intercepted passes. He has really improved himself as an all-around football player. That's a good sign right there, a corner that can tackle like that.
McNabb out as a receiver. Direct snap coming to the running back McCoy for the 3rd time tonight. Oh, he's stuck. Chris Wilson back up in that strong side linebacker spot. Give him nowhere to go.
Well, Chris Wilson does a terrific job. You'll see him right here. He reads the down block, jumps to the outside, untouched, makes the play on LeSean McCoy. Good discipline. The one thing when you play against that Wildcat look, you must read the offensive line. Don't read the back. You saw the discipline right there by Chris Wilson.
Eagles just didn't assign for him. They didn't even block him.
This is 3rd and 10 or more. The Eagles haven't picked up one of these this year. 0 for 16 in these situations. 0 for 17. There was huge confusion on the Washington defense, but the front 4 took care of them.
Take a look at Albert Haynesworth. He's going to rush. He's going to get chop blocked right here. And that's one thing that you have to do against a big 350-pound guy that has quickness. You got to change up your technique. You don't want to make a living going low, though.
Hey, y'all go
No.
out front. Go out front.
Akers good from 47. This one from 44. So another Washington error turns into a Philadelphia field goal. 20-7, 4:08 left here in the first half. Redskins 2-4. Eagles sit at 3-2 on the season. Rock Cartwright set to bring back the Akers kickoff. From a couple of yards deep, Cartwright. He brought down 23-yard line. Tracy White the tackle.
That one will be exciting.
Last drive was a touchdown. Portis a run. He'll go nowhere. It is stopped by Jason Babbitt. Part of the victory over Miami, 46-34. Campbell thrown behind Randall L. and incomplete.
Well, if he would have stayed with Santana Moss, he would have had a touchdown. He faked to the outside with a pump fake on the slant. The corner bit it. Santana Moss was wide open going up the sideline. John, you see it right here. Watch Sheldon Brown jump the slant route when Campbell looked over there. He just needed to stay with him and take him up the field. He came back inside.
Wow.
Left a big play on the field.
These corners, they read the drop of the quarterback. Sheldon Brown jumped the 3 steps. You got to stay with that one. That's a game changer.
And Norman, you call that play with a pump, you're going to stay with that pump and go.
Third down, big rush, Campbell down. Trent Cole from around the corner. 5.5 sacks on the year.
When you get in 3rd and long, the Eagles will collapse the pocket. Trent Cole just comes up with tremendous pressure on Jason Campbell. He's going to be matched on Stephen Heyer, just pushes him out of the way. No chance for Campbell on that play to get the ball down the field.
Washington will kick it away with Hunter Smith. Trying to directionally kick it to keep it away from Deshaun Jackson. And the factor of Jackson felt right there as this one is going to be in Redskin territory at the 44-yard line, just a 26-yard kick. So a couple of opportunities left on the side of the road. The Eagles with great field position, but a flag.
False start, number 59, offense. 5-yard penalty, first out.
Flag 5 on Philly.
This is a huge series for the Redskin defense. You've already asked them to do the almost impossible. They just fumble a punt. They get off with the field goal. They've got to do the same here, men. They've got to get off the field, deny the Eagles points to stay in this football game.
First and 15, tight end screen, Selleck. Loss of 2. Chris Horton comes up to start that play. And what you guys just talked about, think of the last few series. Washington stops them in a sudden change situation. Don't let the Eagles get a first down. Force a field goal. Score a touchdown, get momentum. Force them to punt, muff. Then they get the ball back. Only 3 plays. They don't get a first down. So the defense is doing it right now.
And the constant for the Redskins has been their defense. If their offense come to the party, this is a pretty darn good football team. All season long, we've seen the defense play well. Offense turned it over 3 times already.
Maybe up to the defense to make a big play. McNabb. Brought down by Reed Doughty.
Reed Doughty, the safety, number 37, coming on the blitz.
Well, with Sean McCoy, he's a rookie back. He's got to come across the formation and pick this blitz up. And you got to face these blitzers up. You can't go dive and cut these guys. They're just too good.
It's the 2-minute warning in a season that has been a downer to this point. The Redskins have not had very much go well for them thus far. They trail 20-7 to Philadelphia. The Eagles have 3rd and 23. And McNabb loads and goes deep, and breaking open is Deshaun Jackson. Touchdown! Another big touchdown for Jackson.
Well, they literally came back to the play that John just showed, where Donovan missed Macklin. He manipulated the secondary, looked to the in-breaking route, had outstanding protection from the offensive line, and once again, the Eagles execute the explosive play to perfection.
What did I say, guys? The Eagles were 0 for 16 for the season on 3rd and 10 or more.
Yes, you did.
They just converted one.
Oh, that was a big one.
And Akers on to make it 27-7. And on that play, Donovan McNabb ×2. He goes to 200 career touchdown passes, 28th NFL quarterback to do that, and goes over 30,000 career yards, 31st quarterback to do that.
Well, Donovan McNabb knows he has speed at the top of the screen, and Deshaun, he just starts inside, takes it up. Andy Reid shows you something, and he shows it to you again and again. And then he sets you up with the double move. And this kid, Deshaun Jackson, can run all the routes.
But it starts with protection, John. Look at this. Donovan's got time to let this play develop deep down the field.
And Donovan has a cannon, too. He can really throw the deep ball. He throws the ball down the field as much and as well as any guy in this league. What a call by Andy Reid on
that's
3rd down and 23.
That's when your coaches are in sync. They saw the earlier play where they missed Macklin. You come back, you've got safeties that are cluers, looking back at the quarterback, trying to get a jump on the football. You can manipulate those types of safeties. That's when coaches are in sync, on the same page.
Just another massive play from Deshaun Jackson. Boy, is he been electrifying. Rock Cartwright kick return. Redskins will start their drive right over the 30. Good job by Cartwright to keep it. One Super Bowl, close 3-point loss there. But it's a marriage that has worked quite well for both. Odell Betts tries to get this drive going for Washington. He picks up 9 yards there. I believe I said McNabb was the 31st. He's the 30th quarterback to get to 30,000 yards.
You know, last year my text bill was very high because every week I was congratulating Donovan for breaking one of my records. He's like blowing him away now. The heck of a guy and a heck of a quarterback.
Second and 1 pass by Campbell is incomplete, but there's, John, you can talk about this. There's such a great benefit to both when you've been together for so long.
Are you kidding me? You know, Bill Belichick and Tom Brady, coach, quarterback from the very beginning. You see what you're able to build. If you have the right coach and the right quarterback, you have a chance to win every single Sunday. And Philadelphia has the right coach and the right quarterback, and they look pretty doggone good to me again this year.
Randall on 3rd down on the side. Sheldon Brown able to stop him right at the 1st down mark, and we'll see. We got a measurement. We have a first down for Washington. Meantime, Deshaun Jackson is working his way off the field after his spectacular first half. A lot of players been banged up in this half. Odell Betts gets to the sidelines. Careful, Witherspoon took him down on the paint, and no flag coming. Yes, there is. Here's a flag. They waited to the very last second and then threw it.
Well, there's no question you got to pull off on the sideline.
The officials will have a conversation. What did you see? What did you see? Let's get it right.
There is no foul in the play for a late hit out of bounds. The hit started inbounds. There was no unnecessary throwdown at the end.
You decide. Yep, he's got his arms on him inbounds.
If that's not a 15-yard penalty, I got to go to another officiating class.
Have you been to him?
Jiminy.
Rover!
They almost threw him into the bench.
Redskins 93 yards on 29 plays here tonight. Off the hands of Devin Thomas and incomplete. Close 2nd down, 3rd down.
Campbell's going to have to throw something down the field. Can't keep throwing these short passes. Only got 34 seconds left.
And they have all 3 timeouts.
Yes.
So they have got all their options here.
Well, that's 2 now.
They use one here with a timeout. We'll step out quickly. Be right back. Eagles lead the Redskins by 20. The play calling was such a story coming into the game. And I mentioned before the break, guys, only 93 yards for Washington. How do you think the play calling's been so far, Ron?
I don't think there's been any problem with the play calling. I've been watching the clock. The plays are coming in quick. Campbell usually breaks a huddle with about 20 seconds left. His execution, once again, there's been mistakes by the quarterback, drop balls, and protection breakdowns.
Quentin Dempsey's in the game at safety for the Eagles. Macho Harris is having his ankle x-rayed. Low snap picked up by Campbell. Pass to Randall L. is ruled on the field a catch. We have a flag back by the quarterback.
Holding, number 74, offense. 10-yard penalty. Repeat, 3rd down.
Stephon Hire on Trent Cole.
Well, take a look at it. Hire's playing left tackle. He's really a right tackle, and he's blocking one of the premier guys in football. And that's an obvious hold.
You're going to have to give Hire some help on Trent Cole. He just can't handle him man-to-man in a known passing situation. Cole can fly off that edge.
Already sacked tonight for the Pro Bowl a couple of years ago. Pro Bowler comes to the other side, take a shot at Mike Williams and Fred Davis, the tight end on that side. Williams also had help. Campbell's 3rd and 16 pass to Davis is a 1st down. Redskins take a timeout on the sideline. Jim Zorn got in the ear of the side judge to get it with 19 seconds left.
And Campbell felt the pressure here. You'll see they went 7-man protection to give him some time. Felt the pressure up the middle, moved out, did an outstanding job of keeping the eyes downfield. The one thing I've noticed the last couple weeks, he's been looking at the rush. You can't play the quarterback position by looking at the rush. Eyes must be downfield, reading coverage, finding an open receiver.
John, I asked Jaws, what do you think play calling here 1st half?
I'm fine with the play calling. Sherm Lewis is calling plays from the Redskin playbook. He didn't come in here and put a whole new offense in. They got to execute better. Something on the board here would really help the Skins going into the locker room.
Even 3?
Even 3.
They get the ball first to start the 2nd half. Campbell reloads down the middle late. Incomplete. Not much of an opening for Santana Moss. Quentin Michael was there. Campbell's been beat up. That the right ankle that he hurt in the 1st half is now taped.
Yeah, once again, Campbell in the pocket. The Eagles with only a 3-man rush and Witherspoon coming late. He's forced to move up in the pocket. A lot of defenders downfield. Watch the eyes of Jason Campbell. Uh-oh, now you're starting to get worried. He's looking for somewhere to run. The eyes have to be downfield, not looking at where holes are to run or how your offensive line is pass protecting. It must be a feel in the pocket, a perception of where the rush is. Here comes the pressure.
And Campbell gets rid of it. Randall L. in space. Taking down to 29, 7 seconds left. Gain of 17. Timeout taken.
Sean McDermott in that situation decided to dial up the blitz. This is a really good job by Jason Campbell reading the blitz. A lot of times in these situations, you'll see that A-Gap blitz up the middle. He did a really good job of hanging in there under the pressure and delivering the football on time in a tough situation with people in his face.
7 seconds left, or 6 seconds, I should say. No timeouts as you see Campbell limping. They're going to bring the field goal unit out now here. But the right choice, the smart choice?
Yes.
Yeah, there's no timeouts left. Get 3 points on the board. You have the ball to start the 2nd half. Get something out of this drive. You overcame a 3rd and 16. Be a big boost for him.
This will be 47 yards for Sean Sweezum. Hasn't missed all year. Hit all 9. That's a pretty good job by the offense to get some points and take a little morsel of momentum to the locker room. Hang on 1 second here. You know, it's Jim Zorn watching the field goal.
1 second back on the clock.
Yep, Bill Levy's putting 1 second back on the clock, so he's bringing the players back here for the last play of the half. Then Deshaun Jackson on 3rd and long catches a 57-yard touchdown. So 13 of the Philly 27 have come off turnovers.
And that guy, Action Jackson, Deshaun Jackson. It's 2 big explosive plays by the Philadelphia Eagles. And that's the one thing Greg Blasch, defensive coordinator of the Redskins, said was not going to happen tonight.
Well, that's what the Eagles offensively are about. This is not a sustaining, grind it out over 12 plays, go 80 yards. Andy's that mad scientist, you know, in the office. He loves designing those big plays. And now he has some of those toys to tinker with. He has speed and quickness on the outside.
Final second here. Clock starts once it is touched. It is by Babbitt, and we get to the half. 17's the largest halftime lead in this series for Philly over Washington since November of '80. As you look at Rock Cartwright back to receive the kickoff from David Akers to start this 3rd quarter. The Eagles lost Brian Westbrook in the 1st quarter in their 2nd drive when he took an inadvertent knee to the head from London Fletcher. Akers to Cartwright, who drops the kickoff. And gets past the 20 and brought down to 26 by Elgin Buckley.
In terms of the play calling, he said he's comfortable with it, but in terms of his intervening, he said he has been mashing the button.
Thank you, Zeus. Campbell play action 1st down. Strike to Moss. Santana into Eagle territory at the 48-yard line.
That's a good call right there. Naked bootleg on an early down. Watch the flow go to the left. Campbell comes out to his right. He gets out clean, and wide open is Santana Moss. These Philadelphia Eagle linebackers, look at all of them. Burrow into the line of scrimmage. Great faking. Excellent results.
We'll see Macho Harris, the starting safety for the Eagles, who hurt his ankle in the 1st half. Sean Jones is out there, veteran, as Portis runs ahead, shy of the 45-yard line. And a flag.
False start, number 26, offense. 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
Macho Harris back on the field now for the Eagles at the safety position on 2nd and 11. As another flag comes down. Tackle made by Sheldon Brown, and this one might be coming back.
Stephon Heyer doesn't look happy, the left tackle.
Holding, number 74, offense. 10-yard penalty, repeat 2nd down.
Well, you really can't fault play calling for this.
You are correct.
You get a 2nd and 5, your tailback jumps off sides. 2nd and 10, your left tackle gets called for grabbing and holding. That's got nothing to do with play calling right there.
Liddell vets the back, 2nd and 21, Moss. Tries to sneak by Joselio Hansen. Got 5 back, it'll be 3rd and long.
What the Redskins are trying to do with the movement outside the pocket with Jason Campbell, with these quick bubble screens, is get explosive players in space. They're trying to get the big plays, but the Eagles defense has been rallying and making the tackles for shorter gains.
Eagles just show a 3-man front. Goes Mike Sellers, the fullback, shy of midfield, and Washington will have to punt it away. DeQuay Parker, Trent Cole, the ends retrace their steps, and the fans boo again.
Well, frustration kicks in. You come out after making your halftime adjustments. You've got 2nd and 5 on the Eagle 45, back-to-back penalties. People get frustrated.
Hunter Smith kicks toward Deshaun Jackson, lets it go, and it goes out of bounds, or out of the end zone, I should say. So it'll be a touchback and just 30 yards of net. Eagles will take over at their own 20. Team that lost in the NFC Championship game at Arizona last year. Eagles won their opener 38-10 at Carolina. McNabb was hurt in that game. Kevin Cobb lost to New Orleans, beat Kansas City soundly. Sean McCoy, the running back, to the right. Gains about 3.
That's what happens when you have play callers on the same page. When you have a quarterback, the coaching staff and players communicating, you get explosive plays.
An injury timeout for Washington. Brian Orakpo, their first-round pick out of Texas, slow to get up. We'll step out for a second. Brian Orakpo able to walk off under his own power, so hopefully we'll see Washington's first-round pick of this year, number 13 overall, back on the field. 2nd and 6 for McNabb. From behind, ball knocked out. They can't find it. Who will get it on the bottom? Eagles recover. Chris Wilson couldn't get it after Andre Carter spit it out from McNabb. Philly ball.
Well, take a look at it from the blind side. You're going to see Andre Carter get a good jump. You see Peters go for the cut. Andre Carter has been a sack machine for the Washington Redskins, and that's not a good enough job by the Pro Bowl left tackle right there.
Well, he went for the cut, and Andre Carter is so athletic, he jumped right over it.
That's the story of the Washington season. There's a big play sitting right at their feet, literally, and Wilson couldn't find it. 3rd and 13, they'll run McCoy up the middle, and LaShawn McCoy stopped as Justin Tryon came up with LaRon Landry to stop him before the first down. So the Eagles open 3 and out.
Well, Greg Bloss, defensive coordinator, likes to move his defensive linemen around in passing situations. And it's really helped Andre Carter get a lot better looks than he's ever gotten in the last few years. I'll tell you that.
They have a good rotation up front, and they control the line of scrimmage.
Santana Moss goes back for this punt for the Redskins. Randall L. muffed one in the first half. Muffed one last week. Play clock running down. A timeout taken on the sideline? Yes. Andy Reid came down and called for a timeout. I don't think he's pretty happy about it. Be right back. Andre Carter's had a big sack season, nearly had a turnover for the Redskins a couple of snaps ago as he's getting the right shotgun next to Albert Hainsworth, who's playing that defensive tackle spot, can really help your stats. After the Eagles called timeout, they got their deal organized. Baraka kicks with Santana Moss awaiting at 26. See if Moss can get to the edge. Slips and falls. And loses a yard. Campbell and the Redskins take over the 25. Portis runs into the wash and gains only a couple of yards.
What I like about Clinton Portis is he's a workhorse. Over his career, he averages 20 yards a carry, over 90 yards a game. He never feels good. He's had bone spurs, various injuries, but he's there every Sunday. They just haven't had the explosive plays in the running game that a Clinton Portis is used to having. They need one here.
Pressure, Campbell waiting, a sitting duck for Jason Babin with the sack.
Not a good job by Jason Campbell in the pre-snap phase. The Eagles showed their blitz. In that situation, hold the count a little bit. Let your running backs and your offensive line see where the blitz is coming.
Well, that's a big reason why you need to have some audibles. And I don't fault Jason Campbell. I just think you got to give him an opportunity to audible into a maximum protection, something other than staying with the protection like that, putting yourself in that kind of a situation.
Well, I know, John, you say no audibles. Clinton Portis said the last time he heard an audible, he was playing with the Denver Broncos.
Campbell throws on 3rd down. It's caught, and the tight end Davis in for the injured Chris Cooley, short of the first down, and there's a 3 and out. Just explain what you're talking about, the options Campbell would have with an audible system at the line of scrimmage.
Well, when you play a team like Philadelphia that's obviously bringing 4 and 5 guys to a side, some of these all-out nasty blitzes, you're going to get your protection broken down. And unless you have an audible system that allows you to change the protection or change the play, sometimes you're really vulnerable. And that's just my opinion, Jaws.
Well, you're dead right, Coach. In that pre-snap phase, you got to make your adjustments.
53-yard kick. Deshaun Jackson made one man miss, but not Mike Sellers. Very good job by the fullbacks in the tackle. Very nice moment for what an exciting, multi-dimensional player, Brian Mitchell. From the 19, McNabb. Incomplete and out of the hands of Jeremy Maclin, the rookie receiver.
Now, outside of the 2 big plays that the Eagles have generated, they have not moved the football. They have not sustained offense. In fact, they only have 6 first downs with 7:44 to go here in the third quarter. So, got to give some credit to that Redskin defense. Outside of the big plays, they've been solid.
The Redskins could use Brian Mitchell to return one of these punts.
Well, I remember that game Brian Mitchell played quarterback in that famous Buddy Ryan body bag game. The two players got carted out.
LaShawn McCoy running back, bottom of the screen. McNabb on the run throws. Toe tap by Maclin inbounds. A completion and a first down in front of Carlos Rogers.
Well, the trademark of Donovan McNabb's career has been the ability to extend the play. He may not be the runner he once was, but when he gets outside the pocket, he maintains good leverage downfield. Always in position to throw the football. Now you make an accurate throw because you have proper fundamentals and mechanics.
And it takes these wide receivers some adjusting to a guy like McNabb, who's all over the place with his scrambling ability. I really credit Andy Reid and these young receivers for the countless hours that they work at the scramble drill. They make more plays in the scramble drill than any team I've ever seen.
McNabb flexed out, direct snap to McCoy, and a flag for a false start.
False start, number 76 offense. 5-yard penalty, first down.
Deshaun Jackson and Jeremy Maclin for the next 10 years.
Swing out McCoy, a rookie as well, trying to pick up blocks from McNabb and Jason Peters. Couldn't get back to the line, but a flag comes down as he's knocked down.
Might get a face mask here.
Remember, Brian Westbrook already out of the game, and now McCoy comes to the sideline.
Personal foul, face mask, number 59 defense. 15-yard penalty, first down.
On London Fletcher. So even when plays lose yardage, the Redskins lose out. And right before that, the play before that, Albert Hainsworth came limping over to the sideline. That's been a common sight for the 6 games so far for Washington. 7 games.
That's just a killer penalty, Mike, right there. They're going to have a 2nd and 20 after that play. Grab the face mask. First down, Philadelphia Eagles. Boy, the Redskins just shooting themselves in the foot with turnovers and penalties.
And here comes Michael Vick to become the 3rd player on this drive to take a snap. Design run to the left for Vick, and he's pulled down with only a gain of a yard for Rocky McIntosh. You know, we talk about the football with Vick. Just a second about the person. We all sat down and talked to Michael last night, and he really seems to be very focused on football. He's coming in extra early, doing work with Donovan McNabb. He found Michael Vick humbled. Obviously, you would be after spending 18 months in prison, but he seems pretty focused on football and getting his life on and off the field back in line.
Yeah, I think, Mike, I would agree with you. You know, he was humbled. You could tell in that meeting, and he also is focused. He knows this is a process. This isn't going to happen overnight, but he's so happy to be going to work playing football every single day.
Eldra Buckley is the running back because of the injuries. He picks up the blitz, and there goes Deshaun Jackson for the first down.
How do you spell that?
I was going to ask him what it was, but, you know, there it goes
I
again.
heard it when he was at the combine. When I saw his college workout, he ran like a 4.25.
Wow.
And all I heard was, he is fast.
With kick returns in 2003. Here's Maclin. The the waiting arms of Chris Wilson to shut him down on first down.
Good effort play by Chris Wilson. Once again, it's a play-action screen pass. And these are the plays that Jeremy Maclin caught at Missouri. And I give the Eagles' Marty Morningwig offensive coordinator credit. They're doing a lot of things that Maclin did at Missouri. Just a quick play-action screen, get the linebackers going one way, and get a skilled, fast guy the football.
So people always talk about guys coming out of the spread offense. How do you get them in the NFL? Offense is quick. Maybe put a little bit of their stuff in your stuff.
You bet.
McCoy back in the game. 2-yard gain. Lorenzo Alexander stops him. 4.5 left in the third. No points scored in this frame.
Well, Donovan McNabb throughout his career has never had the luxury of a number of explosive players. People are going to look back to the 2004 season when he had Terrell Owens. Donovan's arguably his best year as a quarterback in this league. He's got a couple guys now at the wide receiver spot that can light it up. And don't discount the tight end, Brent Selleck. This guy catches the football very well for Donovan, and he has a great feel for him.
3rd and 8. McNabb has a big window to throw through. Incomplete, intended for Jackson. And the Eagles will kick it away.
You know, that's not one of the routes Deshaun Jackson is probably most in favor of. You know, he's not the biggest guy. And in this West Coast offense, these receivers have to run crossing routes. And when it's man-to-man, you can stay on the move. But when it's a zone defense, you have to sit down. And when you sit down between the land of giants and you're 171 pounds,
you're gonna get hit.
They don't like that.
I'm not sure if he read it as zone or man. He looked a little bit indecisive running that route.
Antoine Randall L is back deep as Rocca spins another one down there. Randall L makes the catch. Eagles trying to improve their record to 4-2, stay even with the Cowboys, a half length behind the Giants in the NFC East. Washington just trying to find some rhythm here in the season. 2-4. They've played only winless teams until tonight. Porter's left side. Puts his head down and rolls out to the 25 over Sheldon Brown. John mentioned the first half he started at Michigan State and came out of 5 years of retirement to be a consultant for the Redskins. Randall L with the catch for the first down. He just whistled down at the 29-yard line. And a lot of people have had fun, and we kind of joined in the mix here. As you know, people joke about he was calling bingo at a senior center in Novi, Michigan, and 20 days later he's calling plays. But in some ways it disrespects a man who has a great resume of football in the NFL.
Yeah, I coach with that guy at San Francisco and at Green Bay. He's a great coach and a great guy. And this is tough on him. And he's shown a lot of class. He's got great credibility. He's been to 5 Super Bowls. Heck of a coach.
From the 29, Campbell throws to Fred Davis, who's in because of that ankle injury to Chris Cooley. And Davis showing a little bit of extra. Gets the first down to 39.
Well, Fred Davis is a good receiving tight end. He has to work on his blocking, but he can catch the football. Coming into this game, he's been targeted 7 times, 7 catches, and he's been 2 for 2 tonight.
Well, here he is, just an inside release. He's going to hook over the ball. Ball's right there between the numbers, but look at him fight for yardage. They need Fred Davis and these young receivers, Malcolm Kelly, Devin Thomas, to pick it up.
Porter's with a run for just a couple of yards. Hey, guys, we'll come back to Sherm Lewis here for a second, and this very awkward situation. And Sherm Lewis went to the Redskins-Lions game in Detroit to renew acquaintances with some friends during his NFL days. And you know, all of a sudden he gets a call a few days later to come in and be the eyes, an offensive consultant. Really didn't think he'd be coming in to call plays, and that happened after the game last week. And Sherman Smith, who was wearing the title of offensive coordinator and still does, has become the relay man from Sherm Lewis to Jason Campbell for plays tonight. Campbell stepping up and goes down again. Roderick Bunkley brings him down.
Well, the Redskins kept 8 offensive players into block. They ran Santana Moss and Devin Thomas deep to try to get a big play. They could not get the ball off. You'll see the play action fake. Maximum protection, but Campbell steps up into the pressure.
Well, Fred Davis is in there that time to block. And that's the problem with a lot of tight ends in pro football. They want to run routes. They don't want to pass protect. Fred Davis has got to pick it up and become an all-purpose guy to really help the Redskins.
Sean, it's still inexcusable to 8 blockers and take a sack.
Blitz. Campbell escaping. Look out. Deflected in the air and incomplete. With a marker down as well. Sean Jones, who is in as an extra DB.
Holding, number 63 offense. Penalties decline. 4th down.
Will Montgomery is the right guard. And you know, guys, we talk about all the problems Jim Zorn had calling plays in his offense. Montgomery's playing because Randy Thomas, their second best offensive lineman when the season started, torn triceps. He's out. That's a guy who started 143 games. And then Chris Samuels, the left tackle, he's done for the year, maybe his career.
Yeah, we keep talking about the Redskins injuries. Look at the Eagles. They're missing Sean Andrews. They're missing I don't know how many linemen and players. Life goes on, right, Josh?
Absolutely, Coach.
46-yard punt by Hunter Smith. Turned just shy of 22 by Macklin. There is Chris Samuels, who we mentioned earlier, 32 years old, former first-round pick out of Alabama. 6 times to the Pro Bowl, but narrowing of the spinal column, stenosis.
During the kick, holding, number 39 receiving team. 10-yard penalty from the end of the kick. 1st down.
You know, Mike, we've made a lot tonight about the play calling of quarterback Jason Campbell. I'm going to give you like the 10,000-foot look. When we were out in practice on Saturday watching the Redskins, you know what I didn't feel? A lot of juice, a lot of energy, a lot of passion. We talked to a lot of players. You just don't get a feel that this team understands the sense of urgency that they're in. How important it is week in and week out, that you have to practice hard. I just didn't get that sense. And, you know, we're at different teams every single week. And the good teams, you get a feeling, man, they're getting ready to play.
Eagles take over from their own 7 after the penalty, and McCoy is stopped for no gain as this 3rd quarter comes to a close. They're trying to figure it out, and the reality is they are hitting a brutal stretch for the schedule. All their chances to get confidence and get wins, you know where they are? Back in September. They're not coming back.
They squandered some opportunities. It's an uphill climb right now for the Redskins.
Not pretty going forward. 2nd and 10 for Philly as we begin the 4th quarter. McNabb has his pass knocked down again. Kedrick Golston out of Georgia, continuing to make like a play a quarter, it feels like, when you watch these guys.
This is really an important series right now for the Redskins defense. They have to make a play. They have to keep the Eagles back up, give their offensive field position, try to dig their way back into this football game. They don't have much time.
3rd and 10, McNabb rolls a pocket to the right, throws high and incomplete. Well, the Redskins will get a chance to get the ball with decent field position as a Washington player is injured here in the end zone, and it's Golston, who we just talked about a moment ago. Well, we have seen at least a half dozen Redskins go down with injury already here tonight. Cornelius Griffin was hurt, came back in. Albert Hainsworth was hurt in the last quarter. Chris Cooley in the first half. Injury time. And D'Angelo Hall's back to return a punt. 13 of them in his career. Did it with Atlanta. Was outstanding, as I recall, during his days at Virginia Tech. They come after Rocca, don't get to him, but they do force a bad punt, and it's going to be fabulous field position for the Redskins. They're going to mark this one inside the 30. So they didn't get the block, but the pressure helped. Oh, they're going to stop it at the 32-yard line. Ball went out of bounds in front of Andy Reid, who was on the sideline at the 30.
He's not happy.
Well, that's one way to get back in the football game, and that's by making plays on special teams. There's a lot of time left. I know the third quarter there wasn't a lot happening.
Really?
But one score, we got a football game here.
You got my attention, John.
Eagle cornerback Sheldon Brown was out for a few plays last series. He's back in. Here's Portis running left. He's going to get to the 28-yard line. They've been running Portis on a regular basis on first downs here, second and third quarter, and now the fourth.
Well, Portis up to 14 carries now, Mike, for only 43 yards. They're grinding yards. They're no longer getting the explosive plays out of Clinton Portis.
Jim Zorn has been following along on the play sheet, as Susie said, clicking in, weighing in when possible. Odd circumstance. He's been the play caller for all 2 seasons as a head coach until tonight. Campbell collapsing pocket, shot down the field for Randall L. is incomplete.
Well, here's another blitz by the Philadelphia Eagles, and this is old school Jim Johnson double A gap pressure. Both of them coming on each side of the center. Portis just gets just enough of Akeem Jordan to give Campbell time. But boy, the Eagles have so many different guys that can blitz. And that guy, Sean McDermott, blitzes them from everywhere.
But Jason Campbell still an opportunity for a big play. He did not anticipate the throw. He waited too long against that blitz. Get it out of your hand.
More pressure, another sack, and the big thing about that sack is it takes you out of field goal range, and you need a field goal when you're down 17 as part of the comeback.
He's going to keep blitzing. He said it last night. He said it since he's been in Philly. I'm going to blitz you, and I'm going to blitz you again. And Trent Cole, when he gets one-on-one with Fred Davis, I said it earlier, Fred Davis has struggled in pass protection, and Trent Cole just dominated him there.
You've got to have a plan against this Eagle defense. For the most part, the Redskins have done a good job, but in critical situations, they just haven't picked it up. And Jason Campbell has not been quick enough to get the ball out of his hand when he should have.
Hunter Smith sends a tumbling, hard-to-catch punt down. Flag is down.
Personal foul, chop block, number 41 of the kicking team. 15-yard penalty from the end of the run. First down. Timeout.
Philadelphia waits for the Giants on Sunday. They hope to do it 4-2. They're in great position, leading by 17, taking over with the tack on from that chop block at their own 26. McNabb screening it. McCoy gets past the first down as he's tackled by Leron Langford. It's the 15th completion for Donovan McNabb tonight. McNabb missed a couple of starts. Brian Westbrook's out of the game here tonight. Concussion in the first quarter.
Well, the only enemy right now to the Philadelphia Eagles is the clock. And Andy Reid continues to come out attacking. First down screen pass. Look for a couple runs.
12.5 to go in a 17-point lead. I think it's the friend rather than the enemy.
Here's McCoy on the run up the middle to the 44-yard line. You saw Kevin Cobb on the sideline there. Mitchell McNabb had 3 starts, a couple for Cobb when McNabb broke his ribs. And Ron, the numbers, one was because of a blowout, but the numbers were very impressive for Kevin Cobb when he had that opportunity to start.
Mike, I had a chance to look at the tape, and I thought he was outstanding. He had really good command of this Eagle offense. He's been around for 4 years now. He understands it. He threw the football accurately. And the one thing that jumped out at me was the fact that they had a lot of yards after the catch. The Eagles quarterback situation is very stable with Donovan McNabb, Kevin Cobb, and sprinkle in a little Mike and Vic.
Direct snap to LaShawn McCoy, so this was the role Westbrook was going to see a lot of, and McCoy's been put in there for the injury tonight. And it's interesting. It's always a point of conversation with Kevin Cobb, the young quarterback, developing him for the future. McNabb's contract has been sweetened financially. He's got a couple of years left on him.
Well, if Donovan slips at all, the Eagles feel they got a guy that can come in there and play. And Cobb showed that in the 2 starts that he's had when he had the practice. You know, he had 2 weeks to prepare for those games. It really helped him, because normally he didn't get many reps. Now we got a little change up right now in number 7, Michael Vick, at the quarterback spot.
And on 3rd and 2, Vick goes out of the gun, with a design run for the first down. And Vick goes out of bounds at the 45-yard line.
Well, how would you like to have the Philadelphia Eagles quarterback situation?
Nice.
Talk to a guy here who's struggled a little bit with quarterbacks in his career. You have Donovan McNabb, Kevin Cobb, and you're telling me you have Michael Vick on the same football team?
That is correct.
That is outstanding work by the Philadelphia Eagles to have that kind of inventory at that position. You have to be kidding me. Great job by the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah, what gives your best percentage chance to win in this league? A quarterback. They got a whole stable of them that are pretty good.
There's McCoy, 4-yard, and Rocky McIntosh makes the tackle. You know, McNabb's been doing this for 11 years. Remember, of course, famously booed on draft day, #2 overall pick, 1999. It seems like we're always kind of rushing to say, well, what's next? Is it Cobb's turn in Philly? Maybe it's time for McNabb to move on. Can they go on with him? I looked it up. He's 5 months, Donovan, 5 months younger than Peyton Manning, 9 months older than Tom Brady. We don't talk about those guys being at the end. Now, I'm not saying McNabb's on their level. They've obviously accomplished more than McNabb, but this guy's still pretty good. He's got a lot of good football left in him. Pass thrown away and incomplete. John, I know you love what McNabb brings to an offense.
Well, he's one of my favorite guys in the league for a lot of reasons. He's durable. He's productive. He's a winner. His one-loss record on the road is as good as it is at home. He's 240 pounds. He's taken the Eagles to 5 NFC championship games. And he's the undisputed leader on the football team. And that's a hard place to play quarterback.
You are correct, old wise one. But what I love most about Donovan, he doesn't throw interceptions. He plays his defense and takes care of the football.
Third and 9, trying to get out of the way as Haynesworth rolled into a sack. Albert Haynesworth comes up with a sack, got McNabb low. Donovan slow to get up. And another Eagle is shaken up.
Just a power rush by Albert Haynesworth. You see him pushing Harriman at left guard. He makes it hard to step up in the pocket. That is a 350-pound agile guy that is really competing hard. Down 17 points in the fourth quarter. That's a credit to Greg Blasch and this Redskin defense.
The injured player was Winston Justice of Philly. He got up and jogged off on his own. Antoine Randall as the rotating punt returners continue. Going to take a gamble here from the 4. Try to make something happen, and Sean Jones pushed him out. This is the 5th Redskin possession of the second half. Eagles defense has kept them off the scoreboard, 27-10. Same numbers we were sitting on at halftime here in the 4th. Jason Campbell, the quarterback, takes over from the 16. The flag down. Campbell comes to Devin Thomas's side. Asante Samuel was running with him. Not even close.
Offside. Number 94 defense. 5-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
Get outside and work on your fundamentals.
First and 5.
Never stopped. The guy never stopped.
To Randall to the 38-yard line.
Because the accumulation of work is a powerful thing, man.
The 38, here's Devin Thomas. Touchdown earlier, and the former Michigan State receiver takes it into Eagle territory right around the 40s. Jason Campbell did a couple of passes on this drive.
And big old Mike Williams got out on that screen, and he laid the wood.
And when you keep working as a quarterback and you get the ball out there to a young receiver that can run after the catch, that surely helps your confidence.
And Ellis Hobbs, number 31, just felt the brunt of Mike Williams at about 357 pounds. That's a big fella out on the perimeter.
Stefan Heyer out at left tackle. Levi Jones signed this week is in. Campbell, it's the best he's looked on the drive, guys. And to Fred Davis for the first down.
Credit to Campbell. He's hanging in there. He's throwing the ball. And Sherm Lewis is mixing up the play selection. But take a look at Campbell. Split flow. He drops back the pass. He looks off. He throws the ball to the outside. Right between the numbers. This guy's a big, tall, athletic, experienced quarterback. Needs to find his rhythm.
Anticipate the blitz now. It's going to be coming. Sean McDermott's not going to sit back there and allow him to stand in the pocket.
Threw that one away.
And all those quarterback drills you do. You know, when you get into the NFL, Jaws, you have to rely on your fundamentals when things get tough. When that protection is creeping in on you, the running game is stalled, you lose a little confidence. You got to really rely on your fundamentals.
Well, we spoke last week about Sid Gilman. I remember him drilling me about 20,000 throws in the offseason. That's where you get ingrained in proper mechanics.
Second and 10. Campbell throws. And a big shot on the receiver Sellers. Delivered by Akeem Jordan.
It's another one of these Philadelphia Eagle linebackers. Take a look at Akeem Jordan, number 56, just reading the quarterback. He sees Sellers, times it perfectly. Akeem Jordan, James Madison, the leading tackler for the Philadelphia Eagles, and he loves to hit.
Third year out of JMU. Third and 9. Pressure off the edge. Campbell getting rid of it inside to Moss, a yard shy of the first down. Chris Clemens dropping in coverage with Asante Samuel. We'll see what the Skins do.
And the Eagles did bring their pressure to the left of Jason Campbell. You'll see the safety, Quentin Michael, coming off the edge. Just doesn't get to Jason Campbell because Jason Campbell got rid of the football. You have to understand when you read that blitz, pick up your tempo. Get the ball out of your hand. He's had opportunities tonight, but he's held on to the ball too many times, too long.
Well, 4th and 1, they choose to go for it, being down inside the red zone as opposed to getting the field goal. You do need to score 3 times. Get the first down with Davis inside the 10. 6:12 left.
Well, there's no question Fred Davis is an outstanding pass receiver and pretty good after the catch. Take a look at the bootleg. It's going to the left. Fred Davis secures the edge. He's available in the flat. Good throw by Jason Campbell. Nice job by the second-round pick from last year's Southern California Trojans getting the first down.
And I like the fact that they repeated a play they used early in the football game when Chris Cooley caught a pass. 4th down, big play.
First and goal. Campbell looking to Moss. Santana couldn't get it. Sheldon Brown in coverage. Just one last point, guys, as we're going to watch this pass by Campbell to Moss and the coverage by Sheldon Brown. You're talking about fundamentals with Jason Campbell. It gets talked about all the time that he never had the same offensive coordinator from high school all the way through his Auburn days at college. Kept changing here with the Redskins. There was some stability with Jim Zorn, a quarterback who came in, position coach and play caller. It's the first time he's had some familiarity one season to the next. Threw that away. Again, Philly pressure. Mike Patterson, a prod it there.
Well, if you go back to this play, you're going to see Jason Campbell give Malcolm Kelly a hand signal at the top of the screen. Kelly's the big receiver. He's going to give him a little hand signal. There it is. And Kelly's going to run a slant. And the Eagles fooled him. They ran out of coverage and forced a throwaway, Jaws. And that is very frustrating. But they want to get Malcolm Kelly, their big 6'4" receiver, involved down here in the red zone.
Then throw it. Pull the trigger. Gave him a slant. Give him a slant. It's going to be tight. Guy's not going to be wide open down there.
3rd and goal. Cole off the edge. Campbell steps up. Takes off. Down at the 4. 5:23 left. decision time.
You got to kick your field goal here. You got to make it a 2-score game.
I know that would frustrate the fans. That's what I was alluding to the last time they had 4th and 1. I know you're down here in the red zone, but you must score 3 times.
That's correct.
Time is running out, and the pace is not exactly equal to the severity of the moment.
Where's the sense of urgency?
They're ready now for 4th and goal. And that summarizes the Washington Redskins.
That's the exact same play they scored on earlier.
For those of you scoring at home, that was technically a turnover since the Eagles recovered. And the 4th tonight for Washington. In what has been a scoreless half, 27-10, Philadelphia takes over. LaShawn McCoy, and a marker comes down along the way. Washington is showing an indication of burning their timeouts here. Try to get the ball back.
Holding, number 79 offense. Half the distance to the goal. Repeat first down.
That was Todd Harriman's. And we have pointed out the Redskins' continued struggles. Miscues, sacks, inability to stay on the field. Not exactly a clean game played by Philadelphia either here tonight. Don't think either team's going to walk away thrilled with the way they've performed.
Well, actually, right now, Washington has 264 total yards. The Eagles have 260. It hasn't been pretty, but the Eagles did get the explosive plays.
McCoy for a gain of a yard, and the Redskins will exhaust their first time out here with 4:26 to go.
Amazing. It almost looked like Casey Raybach, the center, snapped the ball like Jason Campbell was in a conventional T formation under center rather than the shotgun. And you're right, Devin Thomas wide open back of the end zone. That was indicative of the way things are going for the Washington Redskins.
This is 2nd and 13 after the Redskins called timeout. The Eagles will throw. McNabb's pass is incomplete, so that allows Washington to save a timeout as the clock stops on the incompletion. Rocky McIntosh pressured McNabb.
That's a great get off by Albert Haynesworth. Pushing a pocket from the left side. You can see him dip that inside shoulder. Eagles got to be careful.
I can't understand the call either. You know, McIntosh came up the middle untouched. Very strange call right there.
Also gave Washington a chance to save a timeout. 3rd and 13. They're going to throw again out of their own end zone, and McNabb completes it with a flag down. It's caught by Jeremy Maclin near the 30. However,
that's going to be a safety if it's holding in the end zone.
Holding, number 79 offense. Half the distance to the goal. Repeat 3rd down.
Cornelius Griffin.
We're all in the same
apparently
plane.
praying for the safety call.
Oh, okay. Well, the Eagles are a passing team, so Andy's going to keep the pedal to the metal and keep throwing it.
Wow.
Oh, yeah, Harriman just tripped him.
How would you like to be Harriman, have your first game back, and meet Albert Haynesworth? Because Haynesworth is working him right now.
But you got to give some props to Haynesworth. You know, he's got that bad ankle, and here he goes. Boy, he's still laying it on the line.
Harriman's was out with a stress fracture in his left foot. And now they'll decide to run it from down here with McCoy. He'll take it to the 10. Zorn will take his second timeout. 1 remaining, 4:05 to go.
And that's just another great play by Albert Haynesworth. 3rd and long, you hand the ball off on a draw. You're rushing, you're rushing, you're rushing. You got a bad ankle and you retrace and you make the play. Take a look at Haynesworth. Just finishing, playing hard. credit to him on a sore wheel, down 17 with 4 minutes left. I know how frustrated these guys are.
Yeah, London Fletcher also in on the play, and London Fletcher, the tackling machine for these Redskins, the linebacker position, hasn't missed a game in 10 years, leads this team in tackles once again. Late in the game, in a game that, hey, most people consider over, you see Albert Hainsworth and London Fletcher flying to the football.
Santana Moss's turn to return a punt. Let it bounce. Don't know if that hit a Redskin. It hit something, as two players were, one per side, were coming down. Side judge ruling it over there at the 46.
I think the ball hit number 37, Reed Doughty.
It hit one of those two players as they were running down. It was Reed Doughty running down with Moses Foku. Doughty grabs him, and it hit Foku in the head. So the Redskins will take over in Eagle territory at the 46, 3:56 in the timeout.
Well, you still got a little life. Might be life support, but you got a little life.
Sack. Chris Clemens. That's 6 sacks now for Philadelphia here tonight.
Well, when you get a lead, the Eagles love to continue to rush. And Fred Davis, someone's got to keep him out of the pass protection part of this offense. He's an outstanding receiver, but he is not ready for primetime pass protection.
He's getting hammered. He's one-dimensional. I can run routes. Don't ask me to block. That's where Chris Cooley is missing in this game. He went out earlier with an ankle injury.
Last time we were here for a Monday nighter against the Steelers, Campbell was sacked 7 times. Only time he's been sacked more. He's been put down 6 times tonight. That incompletion gets us to 3rd and 19 with Sellers leaking out.
Sean McDermott has gotten after Jason Campbell tonight and are going to come again. Oh,
nice duck by Campbell. Survival duck. Complete to Devin Thomas. He's going to get the first down out of it. Good work by Thomas at the 35-yard line. Sean Jones, who swung on and missed.
Yeah, Jason Campbell ducked under decapitation here. Pressure right up the A gap. Wow. Right in the face of Sean Jones, and Campbell ducked underneath.
Campbell's 25 of 38 for 252 tonight. Davis crawling forward to the 27. And we have an injury that'll stop the play here for the Eagles for the moment. It's Joselio Hansen.
Well, this is what Fred Davis can do, catch the football. So split him out, flex him out. Don't ask him to block. He'll get the job done as a receiver.
Coming into the night, Davis had 10 career receptions in his first 17 NFL games. He has 7 here this evening after Cooley went out. You know, that's part of what the Redskins are. They don't have a ton of young players to build around. As you look at Clinton Portis on the sideline, they do have Devin Thomas, Malcolm Kelly, and Fred Davis, all pass catchers, taken in the 2nd round of last year's draft. Campbell slinging it, Santana Moss to the 15-yard line.
You know, that play has been there most of the evening. Even when the Eagles brought their pressure, this is what Jason Campbell has to do. Stick that foot in the ground and get it out of his hand.
Got to get a play in before the 2-minute warning here, and they just do. And it's Moss again for a first down to the 3. 2-minute warning. It'll be quite a scene by the stadium's steward on Sunday when the Yankees and Phillies World Series game is the nightcap of a great Philly sports doubleheader. Philly-New York sports doubleheader. Giants-Eagles at the link early in the afternoon.
It's exciting in Philly right now, Michael.
1st and goal for Campbell. With his gets rid of it and dumps it out of bounds. He was chased by Broderick Bunkley on the play. It's incomplete.
Say Philadelphia's defensive linemen have played very hard. That guy Broderick Bunkley out of Florida State, he knows how to play hard.
Number
Take a
90
look at this
defense.
pursuit
Half the
as the
distance
ball
to the goal.
flows to the right. Broderick Bunkley shows running back speed right there. I mean, that guy's well over 300 pounds, and he can play inside, outside. These defensive linemen very versatile.
Yeah, Bunkley and Patterson have been very solid for the Eagles so far this season, where they're the guys that must defend the run, especially with all the problems at middle linebacker. They got to be stout inside.
You saw bottom of the screen was an offside flag, so it's 1st and goal. With Campbell under center from the 2. And throwing to Davis, who couldn't haul it in. Wide open. He couldn't get it to him.
Well, I guess that's the play calling right there. That's the problem.
Now, you know, you get tired of beating up the play caller. There comes a time where you get a personal foul for beating up the play caller. You know, these players got to find a way to make plays. We've seen balls dropped. We've seen way too many penalties. That's the perfect play call in that situation.
It was all brought up all week, and I think we've clearly documented and answered a number of times tonight. These are play calls. The guys doing it. They just have not continued to not perform at the level you need to be successful. There's a touchdown to Fred Davis, the first of his NFL career, and it's 27-16.
And hopefully that will breathe some life into the Redskin offense. Just a simple quick out. The ball's thrown perfectly just outside the numbers, and Fred Davis has had a big night catching the football, and that's why they brought him here.
Yeah, Quentin Michael played that like he had outside help. He really shaded inside and gave Davis a lot of room. You got to believe the Eagles made a mistake in their coverage scheme.
He catches 78 yards. Game technically not over with that score. 27-17. Previously winless teams, anything but. The Redskins, John, have a winning percentage of their remaining opponents of .667. That's the highest of any NFL team remaining schedule.
That's tough sledding. And you know, earlier in this 4th quarter, the Redskins had a 4th and goal at the 4-yard line, and they chose to go for it. They had a bad snap. And just think back for a second, had they kicked that field goal there, Jaws.
It's a one-score game.
It's a 27-20 game and an onside kick, and you might be in business.
You guys see Sean Sweezum, the kicker? He's out there practicing his onside kicks. He did that during the 2-minute warning. He has taken 7 practice onside kicks.
Well, then this one should be a very good pop-up kick right now because he's been working on it.
Well, Mike Black, who spots with us in the booth and was a fabulous kicker at Boise State, he's our special teams coach in the booth. He says he hasn't kicked a good one yet. So we'll see if he gets the right bounce on this one.
Hawkeye Blackie, man, he was on it.
All right, hands team on. Onside kick attempt. There's some collisions at the 40. See who gets the ball. Again, it didn't make it 10 yards.
Mike Black is correct.
It's picked up by Cartwright. And they're saying, well, did Philadelphia touch that ball? You see a flag out there? I see a lot of yellow shoes on the Redskins.
There is no flag, but the ball did not go 10 yards.
But did it touch an eagle?
Don't believe so.
Has to go 10. Or if it touches an eagle, then it is available to be recovered. It touched an eagle first.
There's the pop-up kick. No.
Is that off the helmet of Lorenzo Alexander?
That's correct.
I believe.
Number 79. Here comes the
Illegal
ball.
touching. Kicking team. Ball never went 10 yards. First down, Philadelphia.
They finally threw the flag after the conversation was held.
And with one timeout for the Redskins, it looks like Andy Reid will kneel on this.
Yep. Tough stretch coming up. You know, they won this football game, but I thought they were inconsistent, a little sloppy at times on the offensive side. You know, the Brian Westbrook question, how healthy is he after suffering a concussion? Well, boy, they had 2 explosive plays that were the difference in this game.
First Eagle to do that since Bosch Pritchard, a teammate of Jaws, did it in 1940. You didn't play with Bosch?
No, come on. Boy, you're tough.
John told me to say that.
Bobby Thompson's the quarterback, I think, in that 49 team with Steve Van Buren. Now, I know about it, but I didn't play.
Pritchard did it 60 years and 3 days ago against the Washington Redskins.
And you blame it on John to put you up to that. I can't believe you, Mike.
That's why he stands next to me. He hands me these notes. Well, the Redskins have an off week, and they've got they got a lot of mirrors over there at Redskin Park to look in and figure out who's going to be a part of this 2-5 and try to come back and find a way to score more than 17 points at home. A team hasn't been this inept in front of its own fans in 17 years.
All you have is each other in times like this. That's all you have. It feels like the world's against you. You got to find a way to get up tomorrow morning, come in here, and put your best week of football together. You're not going to get any sympathy cards from anybody in this league, and these players know it. The peaks are low, or the peaks are high, and the valleys are low in this NFL world. I know that.
There's some proud guys, many of these guys, really, in the playoffs a couple of years ago.
Oh, they're a veteran football team. They've got 17 players on the Redskin team, I believe, that are over 30 years old, that have had distinguished careers. They have the leadership. They have injuries and they have problems. There's no question.
Well, that leadership has to come to the forefront. And I got to be honest, I mentioned earlier, I did not get this feeling of intensity, enthusiasm being out at Redskin Park on Saturday. They need an attitude adjustment. I don't know where it's going to come from, but they need some help.
The play clock had run down. The Eagles, they have to put a second or so back on the game clock. As we get to 4th down here, the Eagles will be able to snap it, just drop back a step, take a knee, and be done. Vinny Serrato, the Executive Vice President of Football Operations for the Redskins, said on his radio show on Friday that Jim Zorn will be the coach for the rest of the season. The Redskins hit the bye at 2-5. The Eagles are 4-2, a half game back in the NFC East.